There are meats in America that can literally get you fined or even arrested if you decide to eat them. We're talking presidential turtle soup, our gumbo in New Orleans, even dog on the dinner plate with Lewis and Clark. But here's the twist. Some states say roadkill is totally fine.
You better take cover.
As an Aussie living here, figuring out what's legal and what's banned has been a proper culture shock. So get ready to lose your appetite. We're diving into the weirdest meats you're not allowed to eat in America. First off the dinner plate, sea turtle. Now back in the day, this wasn't some weird back alley dish. It was high society. President William Taft back in the early 1900s loved turtle soup so much, he even had his own turtle soup chef. Campbell's even canned it so everyone else could have a taste. But overfishing nearly wiped out sea turtles in American waters. The Endangered Species Act of 1973 stepped in, and now it's illegal to hunt or eat sea turtles in the US. You might still see turtle soup on the menu, but that's usually farmed-raised snapping turtle, and apparently it tastes like chicken with a hint of veal. Back home, we argue about eating roo or emu, and over here, you lot were sipping endangered turtle. And if that sounds strange, wait till you hear what they used to do with owls. Yep, owls. Early Americans actually ate them. John Audubon, the famous bird bloke, wrote in the 1800s about barred owls being sold in New Orleans markets, and the Creoles making gumbo out of them. These days, that'll land you in some serious trouble. The Migratory Bird Treaty Act of 1918 protects over 1,000 bird species, including owls. You can't hunt them, eat them, or even legally keep a feather. Now, as an Aussie, I'm used to seeing all sorts of wildlife in the bush, but turning an owl into dinner? I guess that's next level American creativity for you. Speaking of crossing the line, let's talk about man's best friend. Okay, brace yourself. Dog meat. Historically, Americans did eat dog in extreme situations. Even the famous explorers Lewis and Clark did it. Meriwether Lewis wrote in his journal that dogs became part of their subsistence, and he actually preferred it to lean venison or elk. Today, that idea is completely unthinkable. Dogs are family members, not food. The Dog and Cat Meat Trade Prohibition Act of 2018 made it illegal nationwide to slaughter or trade dogs and cats for human consumption. Can you picture someone suggesting this as a backyard barbie? I'm thinking you'd be the one getting tossed on the grill, not Old Yeller. But dogs weren't the only small creatures on the menu. Some Americans were literally baking songbirds into pies. Early Americans actually baked robins into pies. In 1867, New York butcher Thomas DeVoe wrote about robins being sold in markets. And by 1890, there was even a recipe for robin pie. 10 or 12 little robins wrapped in beef and bacon, baked like a casserole. Thanks again to the Bird Act, that practice has now stopped. Today, it's estimated that there are more robins than humans in America. I guess in a way this was no different to how the early settlers in Australia were making parrot pie. I can't imagine dining on a rosella or a lorikeet though. Now after all the banned meats, here's the wild part. In my state of Tennessee and other places in the US, some things are still totally legal, like eating roadkill. That means things like rabbits, squirrels, turkey and quail, all legally okay to eat once you've run them over. Deer is okay too, as long as you report it to the wildlife people within 48 hours, and you'll need a tag first before you decide to chow down on that black bear you hit out in the Smokies. Armadillo is also legal, but given that it's known to carry leprosy, I'm thinking you'd have to be pretty hungry before you decided to eat that one. Now let's talk about the one meat that really gets Americans emotional. Horses. In countries like France, Belgium, and Japan, horse meat is considered a delicacy. It's lean and very high in iron. But in the US, absolutely not. Congress cut off funding for horse slaughter inspections. Several states outright banned horse slaughter and consumption, and the industry basically disappeared. Technically, eating horse isn't a federal crime, but there's no legal market here for it. Now, personally, growing up with horses is not something I'd ever want to try, but if you have, let us know in the comments. And if you think that's intense, let's end on the biggest animal of them all, whale meat. The early colonists learned whaling techniques from Native Americans, and it became a huge industry, mostly for oil, not so much for meat. The taste of whale meat was considered pretty bland anyway. Whales are strictly protected these days. The Marine Mammal Protection Act of 1972 and the Endangered Species Act shut the door on commercial whaling. And in 1986, the International Whaling Commission imposed a near total global moratorium. These days, instead of hunting whales, Americans go whale watching. To be honest, I'd much rather take a photo of a whale than eat it anyway. So there you have it, from presidential turtle soup to owl gumbo to dog on the explorer's plates. America's meat history is something else. As an Aussie expat, I thought roux and croc were controversial, but this lot really takes the cake. Comment below, which of these banned meats shocked you the most? And what's the strangest meat you've ever tried eating in Australia, America, or anywhere else? Personally, I've had the kangaroo, emu, crocodile. Don't mind any of it. How about you? Hooroo, mateys.